All right, so we're back. We're back. Thank you, Teresia. 29 questions. Okay, 29 questions. Um, Here we go. All right, so this is the cosmetology bulletin, master cosmetology theory, content outline. When you go through this PSI bulletin, you need to go directly to know what's on this exam. It's going to stop you from studying all across this book, this course, and you studying the wrong places. Okay, for Tennessee, there's a major emphasis on infection control, safety, and infection control. Okay, and so we have determined and we have proof. You're going to get 125 questions. 10 of those are going to be practice questions. So you will be scored on 115 questions. Okay. You have 2 hours to take this exam. We just did the percentage calculations. Out of 115 questions, 28.75, so 29 questions will come from safety and infection control. Okay, 29 questions will come from safety and infection control.
Okay, ma'am.
Here's the areas. When you look at chapter 5, let's see. Everybody make sure you're muted. When you look at chapter 5, I don't want you to just say to the back, all right? All right. I don't want you to say, I'm going to just read from the top to the back. I need you to strategically go get you a different color highlighter, or in the SEMA portal, you know you can print pages out, right? So we have ebooks, but you can print your pages out. But you can only print out so many a day, I believe. But these are the areas that I would definitely study in my SEMA portal, consistently review, workstation environment. Okay. We can even break these down to the objectives, guys, and it'll take us directly to where these questions may come from. Okay. Remember, the other textbook is a pivot point textbook. So Tennessee test is based off the pivot point and the Milady. No question is put on the test unless both books agree on it. So it doesn't matter if you're in another book. The questions that you're going to see on your exam are not partial to one curriculum. Okay, it is a combination of them both, and no question is put on that test unless you find the same thing in both books. So you don't have to worry that, oh my God, whatever you're thinking, just bring that all the way down. I'm gonna even go a little further with you. We can do this together, is to look at these objectives A, B, C, D, E, and F on the safety and infection control, right? We go over to the textbook, chapter 5. It's the chapter 5, okay? In the foundations, chapter 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Over in that textbook, you'll find these same objectives. I will go in and highlight these areas, workstation and environment. So you're going to have questions from chemical labeling, storage, disposal, safety, data sheets. Okay. What that simply means, how are we supposed to label our chemicals? How do we store our chemicals? How do we dispose of our chemicals? And what are safety data sheets? That's our number one review. I can tell you off the top of my head, can anybody name, just challenge yourself, can anybody name anything, do you remember anything related to chemical labeling, storage, disposal, or safety data sheets? Anything. You can go to the chat if you want. Anything. Let's brain dump. Anything.
Infection control.
Yeah, anything from here. Make it bigger. Okay. Safety and infection control, workstation and environment, chemical labeling, storage, disposal, OSHA, safety data sheets. I got you. Chemical labeling, everything has to be labeled. Think about where you're in the concept of a salon. All of this is in a salon. Okay. Everything has to be labeled. All right. Storage. Okay. Everything has to have a place of storage out of the way from the clients. Okay. And everything has to be labeled. And disposal. How do we get rid of it? Number one, we have shop boxes. Okay. Number two, we have double bagging. All right. OSHA safety data sheets. What's on these sheets? Every product you can find has an ingredient list. Every product you can find has a safety data sheet, has an ingredient list. What does the safety data sheet? What's its purpose? It tells us if something gets in a person's eye, how do we get rid of it? It gives us instructions on safety use of the product. It gives us instructions on how to dispose of the product. Got it? So one is chemical labeling, storage, and disposal, but you got to know the safety data sheet in order to do one. So let's go in and find the safety data sheet, and it should tell us everything we need to know about chemical labeling, storage, and disposal. Okay? Every product has its ingredient list. Everybody has a environmental protection agency number, EPA. Everybody should be registered with the EPA. We're going to be using those disinfectants in the salon. Okay. So safety data sheets. Then we have safe working practices, hand hygiene, client protection. When I say hand hygiene, what do you guys think that means? Hand hygiene.
Properly like washing your hands and using hand sanitizer, making sure anything like underneath your nails is clean as well.
You're absolutely right. Everything you said, you're absolutely right. Hand hygiene, just a cute word for washing your hands. Great job, Teresa. Hand hygiene. Okay. So it's going to be questions about washing your hands. I guarantee you it's going to be a question about antibacterial soap. So make a note. Okay. Make a note. When you skim your chapter, washing hands, hand hygiene, antibacterial soap, client protection. What is client protection? Brain dump. What do you think that is? There is no wrong answer. What is client protection? We're in a salon, so how do you protect your clients?
Cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing in between each service and client.
Yes.
And using like disposables and not cross-contaminating anything like that.
I'm about to throw my computer at you. So smart. Yes, yes, yes. Is she the only one on here? Guess what else it is? It's making sure you're gloved up, making sure you have your gloves on, making sure you are not contaminating any product. Okay. Making sure you're using the spatulas to remove the product instead of your fingers. You're not causing any cross contamination. Client protection is a towel or a neck strip and a cape. Okay, that's client protection. Wearing your gloves, that's client protection. Putting cotton around their hairline, doing a permanent wave, that's client protection. Okay. Double toweling, that's client protection. So I want you to think about that when you see client protection or you see a weird question and it's a little fuzzy. Client protection. Okay. Regulatory agencies. Regulatory agencies, let's make note. Regulatory agencies are OSHA, OSHA. Know what OSHA stands for. Okay. OSHA, Occupational Safety Health. Okay. Administration, y'all make sure it's administration. OSHA, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. You got FDA, okay, Food and Drug Administration. Those are regulatory agencies. Tennessee regulatory agencies is Tennessee State Board of Cosmetology. So y'all got an idea. The regulatory agencies, they may ask you what is their primary purpose. So you got to find out, why do we need OSHA? Go through your book. Why do we need OSHA? Why do we need, what does the FDA do? What's the purpose of the EPA? Okay, guaranteed you're gonna have those in there. Okay. Infection control. Okay, now we get into the good stuff. You'll probably see a lot of your questions from this area. Infectious diseases and pathogens. Know the difference between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. Okay. I want to go over this before we actually get in the book, because when you see it, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I found it. And you have an assignment for this for the rest of the week. Infection diseases and pathogens. And here's what I'm going to say about infectious diseases. It is going to be very imperative that you understand throughout your cosmetology career the difference between infections, diseases, disorders. You're going to see that a lot from hair, skin, nails, all of that, okay? But infectious diseases, and when it refers to, and pathogens, this particular area, you will learn about a communicable disease. A communicable disease is also called a contagious disease. Okay? Communicable, contagious, same thing. When you see it in the book, in different areas, same thing. When you see it on your test, same thing. Communicable, contagious. Communicable, contagious, same thing. Can be passed from one person to the next. Communicable. Got it? You can spread it within the community. Communicable. Contagious. You can spread it from one person to the next, one area from the next. You can leave something somewhere, somebody else can come in and pick it up. Contagious. Tennessee state law states, if you have a communicable disease, if you are in contagion, person walk around with the communicable disease, you cannot go to work. Because guess what you're going to do to the people who come in and sit in your chair? You're going to spread it. Look it up. You can't. And people can, when I tell you, people can report you, and that'll be a ding on your license, guys. You don't want public record dings. You don't want them to say, dang, they do great work, but they're so sloppy and they're causing our environments in the salon to just become weakened. The infection control is not controlling, it's weakening. Because this person says, I just want to come to work. I just want to make that money. I just want to come to work. No amount of money. And we learned that during COVID. No amount of money is worth you losing your life. Okay. And I think there was a barber that was, I have to research it. There was a barber that was like, I'm not staying at home. I'm not going, this is my livelihood. I gotta work. Yes, we know you gotta work. But he was still going to people's houses, y'all. got COVID and passed away. Not to say it came from him neglecting, the charge of our boards to say stay at home. Even our government has shut down, but you still want to go to work. You still want to you're a contagion. Either you picked it up or you pass it on. So we have to be so cautious about not just us, but the people we're putting in danger. So yeah, check that out on your state laws and your rules for Tennessee. But when it comes to infectious diseases and pathogens, know the difference between give me an example of a communicable disease. Okay. Make sure you're able to define contagious. Okay. Make sure you're also able to define pathogen versus non-pathogen, the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria. Also, I need to understand, and I'm saying this, but this is all of us. I need you to understand the difference in bacteria, microbes, and things of that nature, even though they have similar terms. What makes them different? Are they the same thing? All right. And also, what's the difference in a virus? Okay. What's a virus? What are examples of virus? Can anybody, we're in the salon. What's the example of viruses that could come into your salon? Anybody? All of this, you should always picture yourself in a salon. Don't try to make it bigger than what it is. You're in a salon. What are some examples of viruses that could possibly come into your salon?
The cold.
Yeah. Flu, yeah. You start off with a cold, which is contagious, communicable disease, and then it'll build up. By the time the virus comes, I want you to learn that by the time the virus comes, it's been there a while. Okay? The bacteria is micro. It's been there for a while, and you can't see it with the naked eye. It mirrors sometimes the effects of the symptoms of a common cold. All right. And you have to be very cautious about that because they're saying so many new strands of things are out. I see so many smaller kids with the flu, they come into the salon and barbershops. You just have to be a little bit more cautious about infection control in your workplace. Okay. But yes, when they talk about infectious diseases, you need to know what that is. When we talk about signs of infection, that falls into your client consultation where it's coming down the next one. But keep it in the back of your mind, signs of infection. If someone comes in and they got pus and redness and bleeding and swelling and local fever, all of those are signs of infection. You even see one of them, I'm going to change my talk or conversation to where it's come from, how long you had it, when did you notice it was there. Move your questions around to make sure you're getting, you kind of targeting a particular area, but definitely make sure you're cautious. Read this area, infectious diseases and pathogens. The next one, cleaning and disinfection. I think y'all got this down packed. Single versus multi-use. Somebody brain dump, okay? Unmute. Single versus multi-use. Somebody tell me the difference.
I would say a single use is something that can absorb water. So like for me that I do nails, it would be like our buffers, our hand files, and our pumice. That's a single use, and we have like um individual packets for every customer. We don't reuse any of those items. Multi-use would be like our implements, like our cuticle nippers, our nail clippers, things of that sort that are more like metal. Those would be multi-use.
Great. You're absolutely right. Single use, if it absorbs moisture, very porous, only one time. Okay, and we throw those away. You great examples you gave. Good job. And then multi-use, things that you can wash with soap and water. All right. Things you can wash and clean in a disinfectant solution. Those are multi-use. When we get to our state board exams, we've had Bags. You must label your bag single use, and you must label a secondary bag multi-use. They want to make sure that you know the difference between single use and multi-use. We will spend more on it when it's move over to our practical training. But when I tell you understanding single use and multi-use is going to be big, because that's where we're going as far as language for testing. Okay, so you're already in that space. That's the language you're going to hear for testing. You're not going to hear so much just one time, or you can rinse it out and use it again. They're not going to use your language. We're in the salon, and the objective is safety and infection control. So when we're in this space, it is going to be single use items we only use one time. We do not use them again on another person. And then multi-use items, these are items that we can wash with soap and water. We can also use in a disinfectant solution and reuse them again. Okay. Anything also that has a form of cotton, cotton tip, cotton ball, all of those are single use. Okay. But on the contrary, your towel, your shears, anything metal, your tweezers, all those could be multi-use. And remember, in practical, they want to know if you know the difference between the two. Okay. Also, disinfectants. Okay. So we'll break down disinfectants and disinfection. Disinfectants are the products. Okay. Disinfectants are the products. And so sometimes we skip over that and we start talking about disinfection, which is the process of cleaning. Okay. Our second grade process of cleaning. But disinfectants, we're talking about the actual products we use to disinfect. All right. So you may see a term about bleach, sodium hypochlorite. All right. You may hear the term quartz. All right. So we're talking about disinfectants. You may hear the term wet disinfectant. That's simply your Barbicide or your Marvicide, your liquid disinfectant that has the blue or the pink color, purple color. So let's study that area of disinfectants. We're talking about the products, okay? Procedures for tools, equipment, and work surfaces. In your SEMA, there are procedures, and what may be cool for you guys, there are videos. We'll rewatch the videos. And so the procedures for tools, equipment, and work surfaces to be cleaned. All right. Let's watch the videos. And also there are procedures that you can download. Okay. Procedures that you can download. Now for us, we know we'll take it, wash it in soap and water. You probably heard me talk about this so much. Wash it in soap and water. Okay. From the soap and water, it goes into your wet disinfectant solution, sets for the appropriate amount of time. Okay. Pulled up. Do not put your fingers in it to get it. You would lift it up. Okay. Take the items from there, rinse with water. Okay. Dry them and put them into your sterilizer cabinets. Let's set for appropriate time. Pull from the cabinet. You're going to place in a clean container or Ziploc bag and label it. And then they're ready for use for the next person or the next time that you're in the building, right? So we'll talk about procedures, and there's procedures for the counters. There's procedures for different things. Procedure for your equipment. All equipment must be wiped down before and after each use. So there's procedure for treatment rooms, okay? And for work surfaces, all right? You do not spray disinfectant on porous. Porous is something that absorbs. So I can't take my couch that's all soft and fluffy. I can't take my couch and spray disinfectant on it. It's going to absorb it, all right? And so I would need to clean that couch, maybe with steam or something, and it pulls out instead of letting bacteria set in. So we just have to change the way we clean different areas, all right? What was my suggestion if you was to take a disinfectant to stay bored? What would you take? What was my suggestion?
I believe you said the Barbicide wipes.
Yeah, I would take the wipes. Okay. You don't have to worry about anything, any liquid or whatever. Your counter, it even says that your table that you are testing on must be non-porous. All right. So it has to be a solid. And I would take the wipes. You can easily put the wipes in, pull them out. Make sure the wipes has a label on them. It must be labeled. It must be labeled. And when it comes to disinfectants, y'all, guess what? Guess what we're supposed to be using in the salon? And guess what? When we get ready to go to state board, we got to make sure our disinfectant kills 3 things. Anybody know what those 3 things are? Brain dump. We got to make sure that disinfectant kills 3 things. Let me give you a hint. You can't take Clorox because Clorox doesn't kill the 3 things. You cannot take Clorox wipes because it only takes care of 2 things. So we need the Barbicide wipes because it takes care of 3+ things. What are those 3 things? We're looking for those wipes to have. Got to be able to kill what?
Germs, bacteria, and fungi.
Got to be able to fight against germs and bacteria, be the same thing. Okay. Fungus, viruses, and bacteria. Got it? It must be a viricide, fungicide, and bactericidal. Okay. All 3 of those. And you can get something that takes care of all 3 of those. You don't need nothing else. Nothing else. And last, storage of tools and equipment. Where do we put stuff? I just told you once it's clean, we can put it in dry. We put it into our sterilizer cabinet. And then from there, we can put it in a clean Ziploc bag or container. You cannot lay your items just simply in your drawer. And even when I see sometimes barbers that just have clippers sitting in drawers and stuff like that, it's not supposed to be so. Okay, everything has to be in a container. Everything has to be labeled. Okay, so I don't want you to get comfortable where you just throw stuff in. That's not so. All right, let's look at standard precautions for exposure incidents. Precautions. There's a video. There's a video, chapter 5, precautions. Okay. Exposure. When they say if you're doing someone's Medicare, you nip them and blood comes, you see blood, you're going to stop the service immediately. All right. Stop the service immediately. Okay. Then you're going to tend to the client. You're going to stop the bleeding. Okay. After you attend to the client, you would then take your items and dispose of them. Okay. So when we talk about disposal up here, dispose of them. Okay. And the lancet or whatever you're using that has blood on it, there's a disposal process for that as well. Okay. And then you're going to change your gloves and things like that and prepare to continue the service and move on. Okay. Effective safety responses for client injury. All right, so we'll talk about the relations, the wording. What are we going to say? Effective safety, not clients, effective safety responses for client injury. Like I said, immediately stop the service. Immediately stop the service. Okay. And so, even with my students that are testing in Mississippi, my nail students that are going to test in Mississippi, it has been just a big study for them as far as in exposure infection control. And so it's not like in just in Tennessee we're having, to stress it, it's everywhere. Okay, so I have to make sure they're proficient in their safety and infection control also. All right. And so these are the areas that I want us to highlight. All right. These are the areas I want us to highlight in chapter 5. Let me see if I can go and show it to you. I don't want it to be any cause where I didn't get it. I want to show it to you. Go to cosmetology, and really you can go to any of them. The foundations is the same in all of the subjects. Okay. Chapter 5, infection control, is right here. All right. If you open this up, and what I was stating about the objectives, just like I'm giving you a cheat code to study for this PSI exam. Explain infection control, describe federal and state regulatory agencies. All right. This was on area for the state board, for your state board exam, right? Did you guys see it says state regulatory agencies? Want to make sure we saw the same thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when you go into chapter 5, looking at the objectives right here, when you see this, that's an area I need to study. Okay. Recognize the principles of infection. That's infection control. Study that. Identify different types of pathogens. You literally saw that. Okay. This is definitely going to be an area. Employ the principles of prevention, the last area, and follow safety precautions to protect your client and your clients. These two here, objective 5 and 6, we're here. All right. So that's how I like to study, guys. I like to break down everything. Okay. And even if I was to go back just a little bit, we're going to chapter 5. Okay. You have videos. Of course, you have ebooks. Please watch all of the videos. A lot of people are very visual. Here it says regulatory agencies activity. I would do that because we know we're going to have a questions or multiple questions from there on our state board. I will practice these. Okay. I would take all these little quizzes, especially the ones on pathogens. Remember the terms. Acronym quiz. Let's see what that is. 8 questions, acronym quiz. All right. You got HIV, HSV, AIDS, MRSA. I would take it because it just helps me build my vocabulary up. Causes AIDS, HIV, herpes simplex virus, HSV, highly resistant to conventional treatments such as antibiotics. My stuff moving. This go there. Come on, HIV right here. And then disease that breaks down the body's immune system. Bam. Correct. 4 for 4. If passing the exam was a blueprint, that's it. Okay. You guys have everything you need in the portal, but we will take this week, and I want you to find, everybody's going to do their work. Just give me a page number. Remember, we're locked in and we're serious. This is everybody in this class. So Roman number 1, safety and infection control. Okay. Page 12. I want you guys to go into the chapter 5 ebook and all the portal links and materials. Where are these? Okay. Workstation, environment, chemical labeling, storage, and disposal. What page you find it on? OSHA safety data sheet. What page did you find it on? Okay. Where they talked about hand hygiene. What page did you find that on? All right. That's your assignment for the week, for the rest of the week. I'm not asking you to go any further. I'm asking you for your state board practical, your prep, and we're going to move full speed ahead. Safety infection control, chapter 5, and your foundations. Okay. You're going to have 29 questions. Go and find the page number for each objective. Okay. We are targeting our areas of study. Targeting our areas of study is going to help us not get bored, not get confused, not get overwhelmed. Because with Tennessee, you should not be studying areas that are not on the exam. I love anatomy and physiology, but do you see that on this exam? You don't. Okay. And for the next couple of weeks, our practicals are going to be in skincare and manicuring, skin and nails. Notice our practicals are going to come, our theory is going to focus on all of this state board. I can't go through the chapters and not reference what you're going to see on state board. Okay. It is definitely going to be on there. And I'm so excited about it. Just get a double whammy. All right. So we'll do sanitation this week. And in about 2 weeks, we're going to roll to manicures and skincare. Okay. It's going to be super fun. I'm excited about it. You guys are definitely pass after pass after pass after pass. Okay. It's kind of like our motto. We want to keep our high number of pass rate up. No pressure, but I just want to do something I know other schools are not doing. And one of the biggest factors, making sure you know your stuff and that you're getting to the other side. All because you're going to the theory state board exam, that does not mean you are not a part of my tribe. Okay. As soon as you take that test, you come back in and we move you into the practical component where I will be so much a part of that. All right. So you're stuck with me like glue at least for 4 to 6 more months. Okay. But that is the assignment. This link was in the chat for this bulletin. Okay. I also posted in our private Facebook group. Your homework assignment is to go through your ebook, go through your materials, and what page, which if you were beginning to study, what page would you find chemical labeling, storage, and disposal? Put that page number. So on, and so on. Okay. Another name for hand hygiene was what? Just brain dump. Anybody? We talked about another name for hand hygiene was what? Hand washing, cleaning those nails, hand hygiene. Okay. 29 questions, y'all. We're going to knock them out the park. All right. If y'all have, I'm going to send you a few emails, but if y'all have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I am super excited that you guys are moving in this direction. So we'll have a little theory, and then we'll have the actual theory that we're supposed to have, and then we'll move into state board prep daily. All right. We're moving to state board prep daily. Stop share.